Welcome, everyone. This is Dr. Lufade. Today, we have an exciting episode focused on empowering women in STEAM.
Yes.
We will discuss the current state of women representation in this field, the challenge they face, and how we can inspire and support women to pursue career in the STEM field. Our guest today is Angelica Carol. She's a podcaster, a phenomenal one. She's she's an audio room host on LinkedIn. I've attended her audio room quite a lot, and I've been fortunate. I'm blessed to also attend her podcast. She's a phenomenal woman. She basically, here is what she does. Her message is this: I can make your business known. So her job is to make you famous. Her job is to bring awareness to your business. So if you are interested, if you're the one that is interested in growing your business, there's no any other person that I know than Angelica Carol. So you get to know her today, ladies and gentlemen. So she's also an author. Probably she'll talk a little bit about her recent book. You can find it on Amazon. She's also into AI, right? I noticed I've attended a couple of her podcasting where she has invited a couple of guests who are pretty good on the use of AI. Maybe she can share a little bit on that topic with us. So welcome, Angelica. We call her Angelica. Welcome to STEAM Think Career Podcast. How have you been?
I've been great. And I'm excited about what you're doing with your STEAM Spark podcast. I think that is where education is going. There's a big interest in that. And I'm glad that you've taken it upon yourself to make a podcast just about that. I work with Head Start also, and that's something that we try to teach to the children early on. You get them exposed to it, and then they'll want to do it. But if there's no exposure, how are they going to know? So I love this. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And you're absolutely correct. I love what you said. Starting early is one of the keys. We have to start early. We can't wait until later on in life. Start early, and then it will stay with them for the rest of their lives. Let's do an icebreaker.
Okay.
So I have a question for you. I always like to ask all of my guests, if you had the opportunity to meet anyone, who will it be and why?
It would be Jose Hernandez. He is the only Mexican astronaut that was before a migrant farm worker. He was rejected from NASA like 11 times, and he was resilient, right? I saw the movie about his story. It's called A Million Miles Away. And I loved it because it also showed a little bit about his personality in that he was not only resilient, but he was a team player. So how many of us love it when there's other people that got your back, like my friend here, Dr. Ayo? When you see that, you really appreciate that in a person. But that's one of the people that I'd really love to meet because my father was a migrant farm worker as well. There's some similarities there. And I love that it shows that you could come from wherever you're at. And if you really want to do something, you can reach for the stars. And that's what he did.
I absolutely agree with you. His story is quite inspirational. Funny enough, I actually posted a post on LinkedIn a while ago just about him. And I wanted to encourage and inspire people to watch that video, that movie on LinkedIn. Not LinkedIn, on Netflix. His story is compelling. His story is inspirational. So I think I agree with you. He is one that I think we all shall aspire to meet. And I also like the fact his background coming from, as you've said, a modest beginning, a farmer. His parents are farmers. And it's interesting how his parents moved from one community to another looking for a job and how that could have affected his life. Actually, it did affect his life at one point,
Mm-hmm.
but he did not allow it. But what's up with that rejection 11 times?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I think when you come from that background too, it's like you have to try harder, right? Because it's not something that they're used to seeing in NASA.
Yeah,
But I'm grateful that story was told because it's a story of hope.
yeah. So how applicable is it for our community, really, his experience? Do you think that his story is applicable to our community?
Yes, I think it is because there's a lot of people in the community that come from humble homes. That's why they say you have the 1% and the 99%, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So that's why I think it's so relatable. And that's why I think it's a great story.
yeah.
And I love the humor in it as well. Believe it or not, I had lunch with one of my friends who has a library that she's working with in San Diego. And she got a phone call from him. And she goes, "Who is this?" And he goes, "Jose Hernandez." And she goes, "The astronaut."
Oh my God. How
And I'm
I
like,
would
I go,
love.
"Get out of here." Really? You had a conversation with him? That is awesome. I'm like, hook
Beautiful.
me up.
Oh my God. Yeah, hook me up too.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Absolutely. Please, if you do hear this and you in the same circle as Jose, please try to hook us up. Reach out to Angelica or reach out to me, DM me. Let us have it happen. He's
Mhm,
inspirational. So now I want to talk about his family, his support system,
mhm.
his family, his father. Whew, wow, that relationship between him and his father,
Oh, yeah,
enormity.
yeah.
His mother, how supportive she is. And what about his wife? Oh my God, did you see that in the movie? His support.
I loved her just by looking at the way that she was so supportive of him, but he became supportive of her as well.
Isn't that
Yeah. And I
amazing?
love that too. You know?
Yes, I love that. Literally, sometimes my wife and I like to cook, but my wife loves to cook. Man, how much I would love to be a millionaire so that I
Uh-huh.
can open up a restaurant for her, right? So
Mhm,
the fact that he's able to open up a restaurant for our own
mhm,
business after she has invested so
mhm,
much of her money just to
mhm,
make sure that he realized his dream, I think
mhm.
that's a great story. I
That's
absolutely need to see
absolutely,
that.
that's a story of love. And I love that he still stuck by her despite the fact that he had all this popularity and all this
Yeah,
money. They were still one. So that's cool.
that's a great story. That is indeed a great story. We're
Yeah.
going to come back to him later, hopefully, if we do have time,
Okay.
because it's inspirational. On the backdrop of that is DEI.
Uh-huh.
So, what is your thoughts? What are your thoughts on DEI, and why is it important? And I don't know, without people in the leadership, in my mind, that just believe in diversity and inclusion and equity, I wonder if Jose will have been successful. Do you see that
Yeah.
part of the movie? Please share it a little bit. You know where I'm going with this.
Yes, I think what you're asking, what I think about DEI and what I think is that everyone needs to be treated fairly. They need to get the same opportunities. All of us need to be respected and valued. I believe in equity and inclusion for everyone. Yeah, that's important for me. And in regards to what happened in the movie, I'm thinking maybe there wasn't too much inclusion during those 11 times that he got rejected. But maybe there was, he needed to work on something. Maybe he needed a mentor. Maybe I think teachers have so much to do with our dreams
Yeah.
and the people that we're around, the people that believe in us. And if we could just tell them that we believe in them, and I think it makes such a difference in a person's life when you could just show that kindness and that encouragement. And I'm sure that you've dealt with it being the doctor, right?
Oh, absolutely, Angelica. You're absolutely correct. Where will I be without people that believe in me? I probably will not be speaking with you, definitely. So that I remember in elementary school, one particular, actually, a couple of teachers, one teacher who later became our head teacher, no, our head principal. She was from America. Her name, I'll never forget her. Her name is Mrs. Bird. I don't know what
Mhm,
her first name is. Well,
mhm,
it is a long time ago. I remember when I was struggling, she really took an interest in making sure that I get it. And that was a turnaround for me.
mhm,
And the second teacher was also in elementary school. We can't do that now, whereby a teacher can come to your home to check on you. But I remember many times when he comes to my home, he knows
mm,
my father, and that actually helped propel me. But again, and then in high school, what will I do without my Indian teachers? Um, so Nigeria used to, I remember they used to bring Indians in who are well educated to come and teach us.
mhm,
So that is where I got my inspiration to pursue science from
mm.
my Indian teachers. I will never forget one particular Indian teacher, my biology teacher. He used to pronounce fungi. So he say fungi. So I used to remember we making fun of that. He said fungi. It's like fungi, right? So, but it actually affected me, had an impact on me. But going back to the movie, the teacher in that movie also, according to that movie, had a major impact on Jose. Uh, it reminds me of the story, one story that you shared in the audio room about a student of yours. I believe that's how the story went. You picked up a book, or was it you? Maybe you can relate that story again. Do you mind? But that story, what you did had an impact on that student, correct? Is that correct? Am I wrong?
I'm trying to remember which book I picked up.
Yeah, but I think it has to do something with his dialect, but it has a major impact. Just that idea that, you
Oh,
recognize his
yes.
culture and something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of African dialects in San Diego.
Mm,
And I happen to have a website that has different dialects in it, and it had different cartoons in it that teach things. And so I was able to show him in his dialect the cartoon,
mm.
and his face just lit up.
Wow.
So I think we can inspire children by meeting them at their level, at their language, and making them feel comfortable, letting them know that you include their language, you include them. So I don't know if that's the right story, but
Yeah,
there's so many.
absolutely. Yeah, but you have so many. But I
Mhm.
like what you say. Just the recognition of the cultural background of a student and meeting the
Yes.
students where the student is, she is, so where the student is. I think it's extremely very important. So teachers play a critical role in the life of the students, just like in the movies, just like in real life with you. And I think that I'm glad that you mentioned that and that you point that out and you elaborated on that. That's a great job. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank
Um,
you, my friend.
yeah, STEAM is important, especially what doesn't involve STEAM or STEM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics,
Mhm.
especially when it's integrated. Now everyone is talking about AI. AI
Mhm.
is a technology and it's really changing. It's like a game changer.
Oh, yeah.
So for that reason, we always have to think about the BIPOC community, the Blacks, the Indigenous, the people of color, women,
Mhm.
and other marginalized group. And that is the reason why I'm going to ask this question. So what is the state of women representation in the STEM field? And most especially in the Hispanic consideration of the Hispanic population.
And women, of course, it's going to be a lot lower than men. The men dominate the field according to the National Science Foundation.
Yes.
Hispanic women are even lower number of Hispanic women. But however, I read a really interesting article about Katia Echazarreta, and she's the first Mexican-born astronaut that's been able to travel into space.
Wow.
I thought her story is interesting because she grew up with a family of engineers, her dad and her brothers. And so she was really interested in it. But she's the woman, and they looked at her like, you're not going to be an engineer, right? Because they figured that's a guy thing. But she had a brother that didn't like the engineering. And so they would go to the museums, right? The science museums and things of that sort. And she got to tag along because of him. So she's grateful for him. I thought that was neat. And then when he would get his science kits, he would throw them away and then she would go and pick them up.
Wow. Wow.
And so because of him, it helped her because she was able to use what he didn't use so that she can now look where she's at. She's an astronaut.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I thought you look for a way, and I think it's amazing that she didn't give up even though it wasn't something that was encouraged in her family.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
still went and did what she wanted to do because she found an interest early on. And she would even do research and things like that. So I thought, wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So that's a really compelling, that's another good story, inspiring story. So what do you think made a difference for her? I know her brother is not interested in science and he throws his tools away. So and she picks them up. Right? So what is it? What maybe somebody can learn from that? What is it? What do you
Maybe it's something that is she was interested in because she saw that her father and her brothers did it, and it was something that she said it was something that came naturally with her.
okay.
There's some things that we pick up that for some reason it's something that can be easy for us,
Yeah.
and it's something that we like. And so it seems like that's how it was for her,
Mm.
even though her dad and brothers didn't think she was going to be one.
Yeah. So I wonder, her father must have been an inspiration because she said she came from a family of engineers. But I think that he just probably didn't recognize that what men can do, women also can what? They can do the same.
Yes.
But she was, as you said, she was very resilient. I like that story. Can you say the name again? What's her name again? Yeah, what's her?
Her name is Asacheta, Katya.
Katya. Excellent, excellent. So
E-
what?
E-
Go ahead,
E-
please. Go ahead.
Echazarreta. I'll send it to you.
Okay,
Katia Echazarreta.
thank you. So that if somebody wants to is interested in knowing that
Uh-huh.
that name, at least they can follow up. So the next question that I have is, how is it important? Why is it important to empower women to pursue a career in the STEM field, especially minority women?
It's not only important it's important, very important, and it's not only for equity purposes, but just the whole collective interest. We could be more intentional and creative in creating opportunities for young women and girls because if we don't create those opportunities, then how are they going to be curious, right? Katya, she was curious about the science kit that her brother threw away. But when you have things available for you at your disposal, then you're exposed to it. And if you're not exposed to it, how are you going to learn about it? So that's the important thing that I see. That's what's happening in some communities, they don't get the exposure to STEM. And that's why we think it's so important to expose the children early on. It helps them with their self-confidence,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's going to help them with their potential as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. I totally agree with you. So, in regards to what do we like in regards to Katya, I know that one of the challenge that she has is probably I don't probably this is not true, but based on the fact that she didn't have the encouragement, I will venture to say that. So, probably the father doesn't see her uh, as an engineer, so therefore probably didn't encourage her.
Mm-hmm.
And her brother, of course, is not interested in engineering, no, in science. So there is no role model or someone that can impress upon her or encourage her. So on
Mm-hmm.
the same line, what do you think, or what are the challenges do you think that are common for women to pursue or try to pursue a career in the STEM? What are some of the challenges?
I think one of the challenges is there's not very many role models,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
So who do you go to? Who can you ask if you don't have another woman that you can read about or get some information or maybe have a conversation with? Who do you go to? Because you want to go to somebody that you can relate to so that you can be able to know what to do in that case. But I will tell you, I was speaking with one of my friends and her daughter, we were having dinner together and her daughter was right next to us. And I was telling her I'm looking for alumni for the school because I'm doing interviews. And I go, do you know anybody? And she goes, my daughter. I go, oh, awesome. I go, what are you doing now to her?
Hmm.
And she goes, I'm studying to be a scientist.
Wow.
And I said, oh, there it is.
Yes.
There's the mentor.
Hmm.
So I think it would be cool to collect the mentors that we know in the community that are Latinas, right? Or and be able to have a list so that when somebody needs that mentorship or when somebody needs some sort of information, they have someone that they could look up to. So I think that's a challenge, but that's a solution as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That is, I like the fact that you highlight the importance of mentor and you highlight the importance of why we need to form a network so that we can help the aspiring STEM careers women, right? I think that is a very important point. But correct me if I'm wrong, don't we have so many mentors programs out there already for women to help
I,
women?
I don't know. I haven't seen any women. Maybe I need to do more research.
Yeah.
There's a few women, but when it comes to Latina women,
Okay.
I think you really have to dig in more to find more Latina women mentors, Hispanic.
Okay.
But I know that there are some women in that aren't Latina that there are more of. So it wouldn't hurt to also reach out to them. Yeah.
One of the things that I've actually been thinking, and I've tried to post on this, correct me if I'm wrong, but it would be interesting to get your idea. The importance of our celebrities. By the way, if you know any celebrities, please send them my way. I would like to, seriously, I really truly feel like the key is our community,
I
right?
think you're right in that.
Right?
People listen to celebrities, okay?
Absolutely, yes.
Mhm.
So if any celebrities, please send them my way. I think by community hearing from our celebrities, I think it goes a long way. And also, I think changing the mind of our parents, right? I
Mhm.
feel like that actually and maybe our schools need to do a little bit heavy lifting. I will never forget, I had a conversation with Dr. Laverde. You
Mhm.
and I know Dr. Laverde. So one of the things that she advocated is for the schools actually to have a program for the parents,
Yes,
teaching the parents to teach the children. Probably,
absolutely.
probably we
Absolutely.
have that because
Yeah.
we have a population of immigrants too. That
Yes.
a large population of immigrants that will go a long way. Uh, so I like that. You feel in the Hispanic community, correct me if I am wrong,
Uh-huh.
will you say that the challenge that the Hispanic community, women in Hispanic community having is the same or is it different in regards to STEM, pursuing STEM? Do you think
Different.
from the Black woman or maybe Caucasian women or Asian women, do you think that the issue, the challenge that they face is the same? Or is it different? Or should the approach? The reason why I'm asking this question is I'm
Mhm.
wondering if maybe one another way to increase this number of representation, maybe the approach that we're using is not specific enough. Because I'm wondering within my mind, the issue that it will probably will be of concern to African American women may not be of concern to women that are of different race and background. What is your take? What is your thoughts on that? I guess I want to find out, are
I
there
guess
specific issues or challenges that is facing Hispanic women than any other?
I think when it comes to especially San Diego is a very expensive place to live.
Okay.
So a lot of people that are in marginalized communities have more than one job just so that they can pay the rent.
Hmm.
And sometimes they have to get other people to move in together, like in West Side Story, that song.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to live in America song,
Hmm.
but in it mentions that everybody needs to move in together. But yeah, that I think that's one problem. I think another one is when you don't have time,
Hmm.
that goes along with that because of the time constraint. But we do have programs where we have parent engagement where the parents get training, they get free training. And I love that because in it, I've seen a lot of parents succeed.
Yeah.
I've seen parents succeed because of the training that they received with Head Start. They become leaders
Hmm.
and they've gone a long way. One of my friends, Masada, he's on the policy council and he already went to Washington. He also got to meet the mayor and had a meeting with him about things going on in the community. So he's taking things in his he's taking action. And that's what we want to see our parents to be strong enough to be able to have those conversations that they need to have with representatives in the community to get things done.
Thank
But
you.
I think I think that's it is the education, because in order to be able to speak with people, you need to be comfortable with your language, with the speaking English and being able to express yourself around people that are in leadership, right? And so that's one of the things that the trainings that they get. So I'm on it with what Dr. Levert says. Absolutely. Dr. Gwendolyn, right?
Yeah, Gwendolyn Levert. Yeah, she is the literacy expert. So she's
Uh-huh.
doing a phenomenal job. All of you are doing a phenomenal job. By the way, I just want to put in a pitch over here. If
Hmm.
anyone is looking for mentors, sorry, Angelica, I'm going to put you on the spot. Here we go. You got one. Angelica is a phenomenal mentor. I tell you, she gives her time and to anyone, at least to us, I don't know. So she has been really very supportive anytime, and she's so kind, as you can see.
Thank you.
She's well approachable. So I would like to encourage you to please reach out to Angelica. So that is very important within our community. So Angelica, I know you're a woman and you're a successful woman. You're a smart,
Mhm.
brilliant woman, and you really, as you can see, we all can see how successful you are. So you want to share a little bit of your story. Did you ever face any challenge, or what are some of the challenges that you overcame coming along? Do you mind sharing a little bit?
I don't mind sharing at all.
Yeah.
Growing up, I used to be a super shy child.
Mm.
And so I felt like there were things that I wanted to do, raise my hand. I knew the answer to questions in class, but I was afraid to answer because I was shy. But one of the things that happened with that challenge of being shy was I applied for this organization, and I had a chance to either be a secretary, which I've been a secretary many times, or I could be a parent engagement aide, which is teaching parents how to be leaders.
Yeah.
But it said on there that I would have to do the thing that I was afraid to do,
Mm.
which was public speaking. So I stopped for a while and I said, but then when I saw that I would be able to help other people out, that's what made me say, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And that I think is the key to not being afraid to speak. When you think of what I have to say can help somebody and I want to help somebody. And when you think of it that way, then you forget about yourself and you think about them. And then you can continue on. So that was my challenge. And I'm still shy.
All right.
I
Go ahead, finish your thought.
the good thing about being shy and is that I can relate to other people who are shy
Mm.
and try to make them feel comfortable because I know how uncomfortable it is.
So, what will you advise? Now we're coming to the close, to the end of our conversation. If you were to give an advice, what will your advice be to young aspiring women coming along, knowing what you've known and with all your experience as a woman?
My advice would be if you have a dream that you want to pursue in life, don't wait. Just start pursuing it now and surround yourself around people that are going to support you. And remember to have gratitude, grace, and grit. And when you have gratitude, that's going to really help you with challenges because when you feel like complaining and just think about gratitude and the things that you're happy for, and you'll stop complaining because you can't do both at the same time. But above all, I would say don't forget to show love in everything that you do because love is the perfect bond of union and happiness. So that would be my advice.
Thank you so much, Angelica. Thank you so much on sharing that insight. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be afraid of going after what your dream is.
Mhm.
You have to pursue it with all of your heart, and you have to love it. We're really incredibly delighted to have you on STEM Spark, STEM Career Podcast, Angelica. We'd like to invite you to come back again to talk on any topic you want to really talk about. Thank you once more again for coming. Uh,
Thank you.
yes, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. And would like to encourage you. Oh, by the way, Angelica, you want to talk a little bit about your book so that others know? I believe it is on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
Yeah, please
Sure.
go ahead,
Yeah.
share.
I'll
Share.
tell a short story about it. When I was in college, the professor gave us all homework in class, and it was to write an engaging book for preschool children. And I love being creative. I thought, wow, this is going to be fun. So I was excited about the assignment. And I love pirates too. I wanted to make a book about a pirate searching for treasure.
Hmm.
So this is what I did. And I also wanted to make it so that children can get more skilled at their literacy. And so I made a rhyming book. When you make it into a rhyming book, it helps establish phonemic awareness skills, which
Yes,
is help identify and manipulate sounds.
Yes.
And then I wanted to make the object of surprise because we all love surprises,
Yes, we
right?
do. Yeah.
And so what I did as my research is I would be dressed as a pirate and I'd go to the preschools, to each of the centers, and I was a mentor coach. So I was able to show the teachers how they could get the children engaged with the books. And the book's name is Max's Quest for the Lost Treasure. And it's named after my son Max.
Excellent. Inspired.
Thank
Inspiring.
you.
Everybody, please go ahead, go get the book. It's on Amazon. I believe it's doing very well, if I'm not mistaken. Please get the book and support what Angelica is doing. I would like to also say I also wrote a children's book, ladies and gentlemen. Not sure if you can see it, but it is called False. Andanna's Magical Pro. Please make sure that you get both of our books that supports what we're doing. Everyone, thank you once more again. Angelica, thank you so much.
You're
Well, if
welcome.
you love this program, what we're
Let me
doing,
show my
there you
book
go.
too.
There you go. Max, there you go. Max Quest of the what? Of the treasure, of the lost
Uh-huh.
treasure. Good job. Excellent. I like that. I like that. Please go ahead, buy our book, support us, and support women in STEAM careers. I would like to wish everyone have a wonderful evening.
Yes,
Please
everybody.
support this program if you like what the program that we're bringing to you, talking about STEAM and STEM, women in STEAM and STEM, minorities in STEAM and STEM, the BIPOC community in STEAM and STEM, innovating our community through STEAM and STEM. Please
Mhm.
support this program and also check out Angelica. She also has a podcast. Thank you once more again, everyone. See you next time.